Welcome one, welcome all. We're going to jail. All right, well, let's get into the not jail, okay? Let's go not jail first. Let's try that out. Let's try not jail for a try, okay? Anyone interested in a birthday sale? 36 years old. How are they older than me? Ooh, free code. Free code inside. Ah, we got some kilos. We got some kilos. Isn't it interesting when they do it like that? This is a weird kind of style box. They put some kilos on the top. They put some kilos on the bottom. They spin it all around. And, well, that's where we're at. All right. That's the first set, okay? We'll put this all to the side. We'll put all this horseradish to the side here for a second. Make sure your moms aren't in the room. All right, boys and girls? No moms, no law enforcement, okay? We don't need no law enforcement. Oh, I forgot to bring this downstairs. Shoot. We got attacked by JJK. There's sorcerers in here. Alright, so I've been working hard on these. The few people on the internet. So that's never a good sign. Very frequently is that a bad sign, actually. Holy shit. You guys see this? They air flew it in. Air crated it. That's what I always think of when I see these like weird kind of palette things. Are you guys seeing this? What the heck is this? What series is this? Let's get rid of this box. I need to actually unpack this because I'm running out of room. So we'll do this in a little bit of a different order than normal. This looks pretty damn good. Volume 9 of Hajime no Ippo. Look at all that. Pretty sick. Glossy innards. We got some glossy insides. Looks like a phenomenal print. Oh my god. If you guys are blowing your loads, you're not alone. I don't usually talk so crass, but I just can't hold myself right now. This is amazing. I really am a big fan of this series. Been reading it online, and then I stopped reading it online. So yeah, very excited to have it. Very excited to have it in. And we got a few other things in here too. Okay, we got more Hajime no Ippo. We got more. So, I worked pretty hard on these covers, I must say. For the Hajime no Ippo. The Baki ones here, of course, aren't custom. These are based off of the design that they do for the the Perfect editions, as well as the French volumes have adapted this as well. So, for those I can't take too much credit for. This looks like it's the end of the childhood arc right here, so Volume 9 will probably finish the childhood saga. Ippo, Volume 10, the National Championship Saga. That's what I've got on the bottom of here. So I've got the title of the manga, eyes. I don't know why I've been liking to put eyes there. The volume, the author, and then the arc. This is part 1, of course, for Hajime no Ippo. Out of 3 parts, there's quite a few arcs per story, or per whatever. This is the Rookie King arc, Volume 2. I'm making all of part 1 in white. Part 2, I believe I will be doing in blue or something like that. I had a plan at one point. You guys ever have a plan and you don't write it down, you forget what the plan was? That's your boy, man, Manga Boy. Volume 6. And obviously these are all hardcover. I'll have to, I guess, go through these afterwards with you guys. Number 2, the second arc is Class A Contender. Not to be confused with Chicken Tender. They do sound kind of similar. We have Space Brothers. I made this originally for Profotaku. Let me just pull up Baki number 12. The Maximum Tournament Saga. Maybe you can see it. We do that right here. I do think I have Volume 9's eyes upside down, though. I will have to fix that. Oh my god, that is a sick color combination. What? Oh my god, that looks so cool. So yeah, Baki 12. Again, Baki's got that same kind of glossy inside. You can see where the volume ends there. I left that in there. So I try to keep these as, what's the word for it, kind of authentic as possible. I put in the original cover, Volume 23 on the front here as well. So yeah. And this is what I was talking about earlier, Space Brothers. So this design I also made custom as well, but this one is a little bit less inspired. This is more or less just the first cover with the first cover on the back, and then I wrote the plot on it. I kind of don't really like the writing back here as much, but you can see Space Brothers, Chuya Koyama, right there. It looks pretty nice. On the inside, mine's not upside down like Prof's was. Prof should have gotten an amended version of that from the company. That was their error, and it happens sometimes. But yeah, this looks super good. The fire extinguisher man emerges again. That looks silly. But yeah, this looks great. They did a great job with this. I made the insides all spacey, but you can't really appreciate that because they don't give you a lot of paper fold over here. But it's spaced just like the spine is as well. Let's open another box. What else could oh boy, oh my god, have up his sleeve? You got it. Oh, I think I should join a weightlifting tournament. I kind of do too. Whoa. We're gonna have to take this one out of here. It's probably got my address on it. That one's got my name on it, but that's okay. My name is James One. You guys didn't know that. And I hit cameras around. Okay. Whew. All right, James One, what did you do? So this is Get Backers, Volume 3. It looks much better on the camera than it does in person, but it does still look pretty damn good. So let me guys just show you Volume 2. I'm planning on cutting this kind of like this. Holy shit, this is gonna look good. Whoa. So yeah, that's why I got my X-Acto knife cutter. I'm gonna cut this. It's gonna look like this instead. Okay, that way I can match Get Backers. That's gonna be sick. That's gonna be so sick. So yeah, I try to match the design as much as possible. I think I did a pretty damn good job, honestly. The insides, you can see I do have white spaces on the top and bottom by design, so when I cut it, it will make sense to cut it that way. But yeah, so this is Volume 3. Wow, this looks so much better than I would have ever thought. And this is Volume 4. So stay tuned to watch me cut these open and see what they look like once I do that. But yeah, Get Backers is coming out. Unofficially official. And I'm gonna cut them and they're gonna look perfect from the looks of things. I'm gonna do a little slice and a little slice and that'll be that. The only downside is, you know, some of them are more yellow than others, but that's okay. That's all right. You can, there we go, kind of line it up like this. I guess maybe I'm a little long, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Cool. Very excited to show you guys how that all works out. What else do we have here? More Hajime no Ippo. I wish I was doing this a little bit in a nicer method for your newer guys. I don't usually go through manga so sloppily, but I'm just so gosh darn excited to dig into this that I'm just making an absolute slaughter of this unboxing. So yeah, Volume 7. You can see the back. The back I chose manga panels from the volumes that are included. Volume 5. This looks so sick. Classic contender still. Volume 8. Looks super good. Wow. Amazing. Just amazing. So I stayed up like all night figuring out a design for these covers. I harassed this one guy on Discord for about 30 years. And I'm making it with another guy who's a separate guy in Discord. And I'm making him work a million years to get the scans to look really nice. It's just an absolute slaughterhouse of of labor going on in that Discord channel. So Baki's a really sick series if you guys have never seen it. I did include the extras that are not translated here, as you can probably see. You can translate them with Google Lens, but as far as I know, these stories have never been translated in English. So my options were to include it or not include it. So I said, I'll include it, and then, you know, someone can read it if they can. If they can't read it, then they are in the same boat as I am, and they just think it looks nice, I hope. All right, we got one more box to go here. Oh, but also 2 more pallets to go for that one box. I forgot. Jeez. What an absolute disaster of a presentation here. But hey, that's what we do. So some of the Hajime no Ippo volumes are a little bit more blotchy. Hard to know if that's on purpose or if that was just me making a whoopsie, but I kind of like that appearance of it. It makes it look kind of cool. It looks like watercolors almost. Volume 3. And you can see the insides. There are no color pages in here, sadly. I could have done it that way, but then the whole thing would have to be color pages, and then it would have increased the price by a large amount. So that was not happening. But yeah, this is a really cool one. We have more Baki, volume 15. Still the Maxim Tournament Saga. Okay. Baki, the main series, the first series, the Grappler, only has like three arcs, so pretty short and quick. 13. And 16. This is the most recent volume in France at the time, published by Mien. That's who I get the front and back from. The Japanese covers, I could not find the backs to save the life of me. I made this series with a different publisher as well in the past, or printing company rather. But I like this company a little bit more than the other one that I made it with. So I decided to remake the entire first series through this brand instead of this company, I guess. But yeah, really glad I did it because it's a lot of work, but these I think look quite a lot better. You know, sorry for everybody who bought my other version, but this one I think is the winner. You know, you get better at things the more and more you do them. So things do tend to go that way. Speaking of doing better and being sorry for things, I'm sorry to Manga Boy because I reprinted things like Kurokime, and well, yeah, you can see here that I've already printed Kurokime in the past, but this time I decided to make it so well, I could cut it. So this is a little bit easier to see where I'm going to cut. I'm going to cut where the purple lines are, of course, and it should line up pretty good to just like a regular jump volume. Of course, I don't have any upstairs because where I do most of my recording upstairs, because I'm planning a big video for my Shonen Jump volumes. And you can see here the Law of Ueke Plus. This series, oh come on, they shifted the cover a little bit off to the side. Yeah, what can you do about that? You know what I mean? Good thing I leave extra. But Law of Ueke, you can kind of see how this lines up. I've never read Law of Ueke Plus, so this will be exciting for me. I'm a little bit, I think I'm a little bit low. Let's see, I would cut it right around here-ish. I'm a little bit low on the Viz logo. So everything needs to be shifted up except the V, I suppose. but pretty damn close. If this came out in English, you would not bat an eye. This would look just about as official as it gets, at least in my opinion. I mean, if I just do that a little bit, it looks pretty good, but I think right about here will give me the least amount of loss. So that's how I'll cut it, kind of like that. And then you can see, it does always seem to give me a little bit of extra on the top, but whatever. You can kind of compare the fronts here. Look pretty damn close. And the backs. Plus, yeah, I don't really know much about La Weke Plus, other than everybody forgot who Weke is for some reason. So yeah, we'll see more about that coming up soon. And we got Hajime no Ippo, Volume 1, Wheeze. Okay, the Rookie King himself. So I also changed the colors on the back of the Hajime no Ippos as well. I don't know if you guys caught that, but like this is part 2, the Classic Contender versus the Rookie King. I put red for the Contender and blue for the Rookie King. And then I also have a different color for the last arc as well, which I don't feel like digging up because these are super freaking heavy. Ugh. Let's open up the last box. Oh my god. Oh, let me finish this though first. You guys can probably tell I'm pretty excited about this. Baki the Grappler, Volume 10. Oh shit, doesn't he look like a badass? So this is the Childhood Saga arc still. And then volume, I believe that's 11. Starts the Maxim Tournament arc. Again, these look really cool, obviously. All right, last one. This one's not as heavy, so with that information, you know. Oh, but this one's a really cool one. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Woo! All right, so we have Bobobo, Volume 1. Of course, by Shonen Jump here. You can see all that. You can see where I'm going to do the cuts. And yeah, I'll be happy to show you guys the cutting project and how that all goes. The scans for Bobobo aren't super good, but they aren't terrible either. I think they just need to be a little darker, but I don't really know how to edit super good. I did choose the better of a few different scans. I think there was 2 or 3 options. You guys may have heard of this series, Magi Adventure of Sinbad. This did release in English somewhat, in a, what's the word for it? Oh my god. Thailand, Singaporean release, I think it was. But I put little stars here on the fronts here and sides for the kind of effect like Magi has. And I've got a little smoke thing here with a sword down there. So that's pretty neato. You can see the insides as well. Pretty cool. I wish Magi got an official release in English, but alas, it never did. There's only, like I was saying, like 4 volumes out in the Singapore release. And I've heard the translation is pretty bad as well. Gintama Volume 24 for like the 4th time. I think I own like 3 different sets of the Gintama self-prints, so that's pretty funny, considering I made them. I don't know if I like matte or if I like glossy better for this series. I think I like glossy a little more. But yeah, this looks great. Very excited to give these a cut and see how they line up. Reborn Volume 17. This one looks perfect. This is glossy. I think glossy is the better option for both series. I think I'll stick with that going forward. Again, I have printed this series before, but I decided to reprint it so I could cut them. They kind of fit more in on my shelf. You can imagine that. You guys may have heard of this series, Beat Volume 13. This is going to be really sick to read. You can see how the spines look here. I mean, this looks great. This looks super phenomenal. This was an excellent job. Cannot wait to get this project underway. Now this one again, I actually do have upstairs so I can show you guys the difference. A lot of you are probably curious to see how this looks. This is GTO Lost Paradise, or Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost, it looks like off to the side there. And then you can see the spine a little bit shifted by the printing company. That's okay though, no big deal. And you can see here I've got a few things translated as well, which is great. A little bit of a summary there if you guys wanted to read it. You can see the inside looks pretty good. This one is a little bit of a different size from the other volumes, and the reason it is that way is because these vertical volumes are just a little bit shorter than the normal English ones, and so you can see it is a little bit, I still made mine a little bit taller. Oh well, what can you do? But it does look much better than if it wasn't this tall. You have to also understand that I do leave room for bleed, which is really pointless considering I'm going to be doing the cutting, but it does help me kind of, if I make an error, know that I'm going in. And you can also see the pages here. I've got plenty of room if I wanted to cut a little more, a little less to make that kind of space. So yeah, I'll probably use that to my advantage as well. Really excited to have all these series kind of complete and looking good. Almost done here. We have the Prince of Tennis, New Prince of Tennis rather, Volume 1. My dumbass had to make this stupid blue ass line at the bottom. It matches with the blue that I'm supposed to cut. Blue on the top. The spine, very thin, but what can you do there? And then the back here looks kind of empty, but it does fit the, what's the word for it? Aesthetic of the other volumes as well. I think this looks good though. This looks pretty good. You can see the inside of course here as well. Table of contents page is upside down. That's probably my dumbass. But everything else looking pretty damn good. Gotta say, not bad. Not bad at all. Strawberry 100, 15. Well, that looks pretty damn good too. You know, I gotta pat myself on the back every once in a while, I guess. I feel like I'm doing quite a lot in this video, but I forgot to put the strawberry here in my original release, so I put the strawberry down there, which I hope it looks a little bit better. And then also the name, the font I got I thought was pretty close originally, but I thought it was way off afterwards. And then we have, yeah, a ton of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. These ones I didn't make at all. This was made by someone else on the Discord, the same person actually. Who I was harassing for help, you know, when I was designing my Hajime no Ippo covers. So, shout out to them. We've got all of the volumes here, and I'll just go through them with you all real quick. And if you don't know Disastrous Life of Psyche K, it's essentially about a psychic who has the ability, a very strong ability of psychic powers, but he doesn't really want them, you know? Volume 0 is actually the pilot here. I have these ones all as a glossy paper. The glossy paper, some people don't like. I actually really like it. The blacks are black AF. I think that's because I use the premium ink though, but I think I'll have to go forward with that more in the future. But yeah, so Volume 0 here, and then the back side as well. Volume 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This one was a lot of work because they had to translate the covers on the front. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So that is all from the company who prints my manga physically for me. And I typically design the covers. Stay tuned for my follow-up video where I cut some of them. Now let's show you guys what I got in the in the fish section here, okay? So let's break it down real quick. I'll be right back. Just got to put everything out. Welcome back to the tax-paying part of the video. If you're a taxpayer, thanks for joining, sticking it out, and skipping to this part. If you're not a taxpayer, you know, I appreciate your views. Thank you so much. We've got Persona 4 Arena, Volume 2. Yosuke on the cover here, looking very fly. A few people on the back side of things. Persona 4 and 3 cast collide. We've got the Polar Bear Cafe, Collector's Edition. Volume 2, and a story by Aloha Higa. A little seagull right there. I've heard nothing but good things about this anime, and the manga looked super cool, so I grabbed it. Blue Period, Volume 13. I thought this was going a certain path in Volume 12, which I was really hoping it does not continue to go. So time will tell about that. Don't Call It a Mystery, 1 and 2. This I've heard nothing but amazing things about. This is one of the leading joseis, apparently, by the creator of Basar and Seven Seeds. So hopefully those get a reprint. Yuna and the Haunted Hot Springs, Volume 21. I don't really like this series at all. Don't recommend you buy this. Case Study of Vanitas, Volume 9. Same author as Pandora Hearts. Ayashimon, Volume 2. Same creator as Hell's Paradise. Wasn't a big fan of the first one. Hopefully Volume 2 can win me back. Sakamoto Days, Volume 8. Not only am I a big fan of this series, this cover looks absolutely amazing. The contrast of the blue and the yellow and the red. Oh my god. Somebody is just... It's like they shouldn't be doing this. They should actually have $1 million for them waiting at the Louvre. Dragon Ball Super, Volume 18. Sick cover with Bardock on the front. Likely going through Gas's past. This series, Ultra Ego on the back. It looks super cool. Volume 13 of Mashal. I just read Volume 12. How fast are these coming out? How far behind are we? Wow. My room is a dungeon rest stop. Volume 6. It looks like Aqua. I think that's a slime lady though. The series has been a lot of fun. The Great Yahi Will Not Be Defeated. Volume 5. This has been a very similar story to Devil's a Part-Timer. Sino Alice, Volume 3. I think that this one is bloody. Something tells me that this one is bloody. This is based on a phone game written by Yoko Taro. This phone game actually recently got discontinued or is about to be discontinued. In order to access the final arc, you actually have to agree to have your entire account wiped off the server. So it's a typical Yoko Taro kind of a thing. He does some crazy stuff. Reprise of the Shield Hero Volume 8. This series, I believe, is coming to the end. I don't think that the spinoff is continuing at this point, but maybe it is. To Love Root Darkness. I was actually just looking at my collection of this. Not quite done yet with them all, but Volume 3 I was missing, so glad to have that. Sequel to the Shonen Jump hit inspired multiple anime. Same author, same artist as Black Cat, as well as what's the frickin' it's called? Darling in the Franxx. There we go. And Ayakashi Triangle. Mob Psycho 100, Volume 11. This series is nowhere near the season 3 finale. But you know, at least it's still coming out. Skeleton Knight in Another World, Volume 10. Very nice training day. And Servamp, Volume 18. Holy moly, this Servamp. Before he was Kuro. So this is a series where I really need to be reading it, and I just haven't. I've been collecting it forever, and it is just still being collected. It's a vampire manga. It's something I heard a lot of good things about when it was coming out in when I was in like high school and college, I believe. And so I grabbed it when I noticed that it was coming out in English as a manga, and I haven't still read it. The time will come. Skeleton Knight in Another World, another series I hear nothing but good things about, but I still haven't read. This is a MMORPG / isekai that I've heard is great, but some people kind of fear that it's a Overlord knockoff. I promise you it has nothing similar with Overlord other than the main character being a skeleton. and even that's kind of loose. Mob Psycho 100, Volume 11. The art isn't quite for everybody, but you can see here what it looks like. It looks like Volume 11, it's actually improved quite a lot, which is perfect. We really needed that, so that's good. It looks like this is getting to the Season 2 finale, actually, so that's nice. But we're not quite at the Season 2 finale, it seems. It's either the Season 2 finale or it's the Season 1 finale. I'm actually having a hard time telling which. Nope, this is... I think this is the Season 1 finale because Master Reagan's kicking people's butt, and that only happens once. This wasn't wrapped, so I'm assuming it's safe to show you guys scenes, but I've heard that this is a very inappropriate series, but yeah, we're not... Okay, that one was kind of risque, but otherwise, I guess not too bad. The Haunted Hot Springs a lot worse. Reprise of the Shield Hero, or Spear Hero. This is a take from the Spear Hero. Something happens to him in the main series, and then he gets his own little spin-off to kind of follow him around here. Not gonna open this because I think it must be pretty crazy. The Great Jahi will not be defeated again. I definitely recommend the series if you're a big fan of Devils a Part-Timer. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of cutesy little events happening. Main goal is, of course, she wants to kind of become the Demon Lord's right-hand woman again. And then go back to the demon world and continue life with how it is. But right now she's pretty much powerless human who can only return to her form with the help of mana crystals, which she is terrible at collecting. My room is a dungeon rest stop. This has been a pretty fun series where the main character is pretty helpless and he keeps running into all these people who are chilling in his room and he's just like accepting it. He seems like he wants to kind of adventure into the dungeon somewhat, but it's been a lot of fun. I haven't read it in a while because I was missing a volume for the longest time. Now I've got it in, but I still haven't read it. It's on the TBR. It's coming up again. Mashal Volume 12. Mashal is another great series. Mashal is actually a series I'm not the most fond of. The last volume I thought was pretty good. The author mentioned that he's going to try to wrap things up. We're dealing a lot with Mash's siblings, and it's not really a spoiler because they just outright tell you that they're his siblings like 10 volumes ago, which is kind of ridiculous. Dragon Ball Super Volume 18, I believe we're approaching the end of the Gas arc, Gas and Granola, so that's exciting. We're getting kind of a backstory in Gas and Granola as well. I think mostly just Gas, but I'm not 100% on that, as I have not read it yet, of course. Sakamoto Days. They started their license test to get into the JC or JHH, something like that, which Sakamoto used to be a part of as an assassin. JAA, that's it. And so, yeah, that's been an excellent arc so far. They're trying to get kind of insider information and see what's going on with the X group, or X's organization, rather. Ayashimon, Volume 2. The first volume just had too much backstory for me. It was really difficult for me to keep reading it, honestly. This one looks like it's a little lighter on the text, but it doesn't still look like it's a heck of a lot lighter. There's only one more volume after this. The series was canceled after 3 volumes. The Case Study of Vanitas, Volume 9. This manga looks pretty cool. Looks very well drawn and stylized. Pandora Hearts really wasn't that great at the start, so I'm hoping that this is great at the start. And Pandora Hearts, I thought, ended really well. I feel like I've got like a little dust on my nose. It's really annoying me. The Haunted Hot Springs. I'm not showing you guys a goddamn page from this trash. Don't buy it unless you really like smut. Don't call it a mystery, but please buy it. 1 and 2. This is like an oversized Omni by 7 Seas here. This has been one of the top selling josei in Japan. And yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Been excited for this thing to finally hit the store shelves. So yeah, I can't wait to actually read this myself. A little bit of a color page at the front. Oh, or a few color pages. Whoa, whoa. Very cool. So the art looks like amazing on it. Definitely got to check that one out. Blue Period Volume 13. Speaking of amazing art, this series is full of it. This definitely recommend checking the series out. I've really enjoyed it up until like the last 2 volumes, but even still, I just think that it was a difference of opinion. And I have a feeling they're not going to even go that direction, but the direction they were hinting at, I was like, nope, don't like where that's going. Polar Bear Cafe, Volume 2, Collector's Edition. So this just collects a bunch of them. Pretty sure that these are a bunch of like little short stories here, but they're just like cute little animal stories here about these animals living, I think, in a zoo, maybe just in a cafe. Not 100%, but yeah, I'm all here for it. I saw the Grizzly Bear Cafe. That's going to be a rival company. And Persona 4 Arena Volume 2. Again, I think I said this last time. If you are interested in playing the game, do not buy Persona 4 Arena. Get Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. It does include like the whole game from the first one as well as the sequel. And it's just an overall better version. There is the Ultimax version coming out for the manga at some point. I do believe Volume 3 is going to be the last one for just regular Arena. But we'll see what happens there. And that really wraps it up. What did you guys think about this wild haul? I was like literally a ravenous animal for over half of it. Like I was drooling at the mouth. This is like a 50-minute video almost. I was like, oh my God, when I was showing you guys my tax evasion books, like, whoo, man, it's like, couldn't even contain myself. Well, once this video goes live, you know, you guys can come visit me in jail anytime. I'll put the jail address up on the screen after the fact, so you guys can come and say hi if you'd like to, or send me little postcards. You know, I take it. That's cool, you know, something to read. Maybe you guys can slip in some manga in there. That'd be pretty cool. You know, man's got to get his fix. Man's got to eat after all. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment down below, and let me know if you guys are interested in those volumes in the comments, and we can, you know, you can message me on Instagram as well, or email me. That's the best way to learn how to make them. I'd be happy to share with you guys the place where you can learn how to do it. And we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.